I'm Nick Palmisano, and this is the Bad News Network. Two tanker ships making passage through the Strait of Hormuz were reportedly attacked on Thursday. One ship was attacked twice, suffering a breach in the hull above the waterline. The other ship was likely hit by a torpedo. Both ships have survived the attacks, and all of the personnel were able to get off safely. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo believes that Iran was responsible for these attacks based on the types of weapons and the tactics used. So far, no concrete conclusions have been drawn. However, tensions and gas prices are way up. War hawks, of course, are itching to invade Iran. Peaceniks believe this is a false flag. We reached out to Flock of Seagulls for comment, but they weren't concerned at all, citing that Iran is so far away. California is set to become the first state in the union to pay for the health care of illegal immigrants. Under an agreement between the governor and the state legislature, illegal immigrants between the ages of 19 and 25 that are in a low-income situation would be eligible for Medi-Cal, which is California's Medicaid. The program is set to begin in 2020. State officials believe that this will be available to about 90,000 individuals at a cost of $98 million per year. To pay for this expensive program, the state has decided to begin taxing people that don't have insurance, similar to the way that Obamacare had with the individual mandate. Additionally, the state plans on saving money for energy costs by burning all of their homeless veterans for fuel.
A Pennsylvania mother faces reckless endangerment charges for assuming that her 3 kids could survive a 10-minute wait in the car while she ran into the store. While Forst was in the store, a passerby saw the kids in the car and called the local authorities. Coles then alerted the shoppers over the PA system. Forst then ran out of the store, got in a car, and drove away, fearing that she was going to get arrested. She changed her mind, turned around, and came back and waited for the police. Upon arriving, county police charged her with 3 counts of reckless endangerment, 3 counts of leaving children unattended in a vehicle, and 1 count of reckless driving. Forst's 10-minute errand now means that she's facing up to 2 years of jail time. And here's the kicker, this case was more than a year ago. That's right, folks, still not resolved. In the meantime, she has incurred and paid hundreds of dollars of fines and fees. These fines include, but aren't limited to, $200 for the county's plea fee, $50 for the cost of prosecution, $100 for the disposition program, and $23 for an expungement fee. In August, Forst is expected to attend a program that is designed to rehabilitate her, which could last up to 2 years and essentially probation. If you find Miss Forst's behavior shocking, please don't let anybody tell you about the kids in the 80s, or for that matter the 70s, where basically they were handed a hunting knife and a bicycle and told to fend for themselves until the streetlights came on.
Experts are worried about the increasing quality of deepfake videos, claiming that hackers are able to make these videos at a higher quality faster than security consultants can actually create the technology to identify these videos as fake. Their chief concern is that people aren't going to believe anything that they see or hear, regardless of the source that it comes from. But others counter, don't worry. There are already people that don't believe in vaccinations, the moon landing, the fact that the Earth is a sphere, or that socialism is eventually going to work this time. I honestly believe that if you put Hillary Clinton's face on a whaler riding a jet ski killing a porpoise, that people would believe that 100%. And they'd believe her follow-on book, Living a Porpoiseful Life.
Riots erupted in Hong Kong as protesters flooded the streets in opposition to a proposed extradition bill being pushed by Beijing. The proposed changes would compromise Hong Kong's legal independence from mainland China, something Hong Kong residents are adamantly against. The vast majority have no intention of becoming a part of China's murky legal system. And by murky, we mean if you speak out at all against the government, you're basically instantly convicted and/or disappear altogether.
Jon Stewart appeared before the House Judiciary Subcommittee to petition the reauthorization of the 9/11 Victims' Compensation Fund. The 9/11 Health and Compensation Act established this fund in 2010. The act was then reauthorized in 2015 for 90 years. However, they only funded it for 5 years. That's like sending somebody to Mars on a 90-year mission with 5 years of oxygen. The fund provided much-needed financial support for the many survivors and volunteers of 9/11. These people all suffered serious medical issues as a result of the attacks. Jon Stewart's testimony struck basically every heart chord available anywhere, and frankly, absolutely embarrassed this subcommittee. Less than 24 hours after Stewart's testimony, the subcommittee voted to reauthorize the fund permanently, either because they suddenly loved America or because they realized that they were going to be in a whole lot of crap.
Following the crash of the F-35 in April over Japanese waters, the Japanese government have concluded that it's not a mechanical failure that downed the aircraft. Instead, investigators have speculated that spatial disorientation or vertigo may have affected the pilot, causing the crash. Despite the controversy surrounding the F-35, Japan has announced its intentions to buy at least 150 more and create a massive fleet. Their intention is to have the largest overseas air force and to compete with China's burgeoning military technology. What could possibly go wrong?
Turkey will not back down from its decision to buy Russian S-400 missile defense systems, despite the fact that the United States has warned that this will exclude them from purchasing the F-35 in the future. "Oh no!" exclaimed Turkey. "Say it ain't so! Not the most overpriced, bug-ridden system that the military's ever produced. Whatever shall we do?" With an average repair time of 172 days, who wouldn't want that piece of equipment? Also, I want to reiterate for the 1000th time that Turkey was once the crown jewel of secularism in the Islamic world, but is now sinking towards Islamofascism and ruin, and that really sucks.
In an interview with ABC this week, President Trump said that if offered dirt on his political opponents from a foreign power, he would take it, and would probably call the FBI. Trump offered that taking information on his opponents from foreign sources is no different than intel collection during campaigns. Except for the fact that it's totally illegal, un-American, and borders on treason. But other than that, it's totes okay.
It was announced this week that Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders is leaving Team Trump. The president tweeted that he wished her the best of luck and she was heading back to Arkansas, and that he hoped that she was going to run for governor someday. So far, this feels like an amicable, albeit abrupt departure from the Trump team, but I'm willing to bet that there's going to be some dirt coming down the road.
In sports, the Boston Bruins lost to the St. Louis Blues in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. God, that hurts to say. It's hard to fathom what I could only perceive as a lack of intensity throughout the entire game from the Bruins bench. The Bruins lost 4-1 at home and in no heroic fashion. And I can say with 100% certainty that if I had been out there on that ice that night, it would have been way worse. On the flip side, the Blues played really well, and their goalie, Jordan Binnington, is an absolute rock star of a goalie. Hats off to the Blues for being the new Stanley Cup champs. And the Bruins, see you next year, boys.
Justin Bieber issued a challenge to a man 31 years his senior when he challenged Tom Cruise to an MMA fight this week. Bieber explained that Cruise would never live it down if he declined, and tagged Dana White in the tweet to make sure that it happened. Cruise did not respond to the tweet, because he's an adult. A short time afterwards, Bieber backed down from the challenge, saying it was just a silly tweet that he sent, and he does that sometimes. He offered that Cruise would probably whoop him because he has dad strength. Nothing about the incident did anything to improve Bieber's already questionable reputation. However, it's probably in his best interest that the pop star tucked tail and ran. Even at 56 years old, Cruise was an all-state wrestler in high school, and of course he has those alien god Scientology powers. That doesn't stack up real well for the Biebs, who derives his own power from bad decisions, awful tattoos, and believing that he's a boxer because he parties with Mayweather. And finally, in Florida news, a man by the name of Theodore Levi lost his thumb to a Jaguar this week. Now, before you ask what the hell this man is doing fighting with a Jaguar, I'm talking about his car. The $96,000 car comes with a soft touch feature that makes the door look unclosed. That is, until the Jaguar door clamps down on it like the apex predator that it is, regardless of what's in its path, including the owner's thumb. Well, that's exactly what happened, and Levi got to watch his thumb get eaten by his car in a Denny's parking lot. Me-ow. But seriously, that's actually a completely reasonable Florida man story, and I don't even know what to do with that information. I kind of feel like the world's going to end right now. And with that, I'm Nick Palmisano, and this is the Bad News Network. Our news is at least as bad as the news you're getting already, and I would totally kick the crap out of Justin Bieber.